What is up, guys? Here Reynolds, your boy Kagi, back at it again with a new video, and today we're gonna extend on my previous video how to breed like a pro. In this video I did not go into the DNA part of breeding, so I'm going to attempt to show you what the DNA part of breeding is. It's really important that you understand it so that you can actually complete the whole picture of breeding like a pro. So I'm going to use this article by Binary Assets. He's a user on the Axie Infinity world, and he writes about a lot of things in the crypto world. He writes about Axies, he writes about different tokens and stuff like that. He's really good writer, and we're gonna use this article as a base and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so let's get started with this. He says right here, the genes of an Axie. So let's read right through this. Every Axie has 6 parts: eyes, ears, mouth, horn, back, tail, and each of these parts has 3 sets of genes: dominant, recessive 1, and recessive 2. The dominant trait is the strongest and has the greatest chance to be passed to children. Recessive 1 is the second strongest gene, and recessive 2 is the weakest gene and has the least chance to get passed on to children. So let me show you what that means. Okay, so if we go to my inventory right here and we go to one of my Axies and we hover over the stats, you can see right here that it has D1, R1, and R2. Those are the genes of my Axie. Okay, now if you want this feature on your Axies, you have to download Freak's Axie extension. You can go to the Google store and then you can download it. It's really good, it's really helpful, so that way when you're shopping for an Axie you can know the genes right away. So let's keep reading through this. How much does a gene contribute when breeding? The dominant gene has 37.5% chance of being passed. R1 gene has 9% or 9.3 chance of being passed, and R2 gene has 3.1% chance of being passed. If you add up each of these numbers, is 37.5 plus 9.3 plus 3.1 is 50%. Where does the other 50% come from? The other parent. You put 2 Axies together and that gives you all the possibilities for the child Axie. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. All right, so let's go to my inventory and let's grab one of my Axies. Okay, we're gonna grab the number, we're gonna copy it, and then we're gonna go to the Axie breeding calculator. Okay, I'm gonna leave the link down below, and what this does is that it gives you all the genes of the Axie you're trying to breed. So if you plug it in by itself, you go right here and it gives you all the genes. So as you can see, for every part you can see all the genes that it has. So you got eyes, gecko, dominant gene, bookworm, R1, poppy, R2. Then for the ears you got rosa, dominant gene, innocent lamb, R1, ear breathing, R2. So then you got it for the mouth, for the horn, for the back, and for the tail. Now if you go and plug in another Axie, let's just take a random Axie, right? Let's just take one of my random Axies right here. Boom, copy the number, put it here, and you plug it in, you calculate it. It tells you the percentage. It tells you the percentage that your baby might come up with. So your baby might come up with 46% Mavi's eyes, 46% innocent lamb, 46% peacemaker, 37% horn, 37% red ear, and 40% Nemo. Now, if you want to increase the chances of an Axie having a certain part that you actually want, let's say you want a part and you really want that part, you want to breed that Axie with that part, what you got to do is you got to find Axies, you got to find 2 Axies that have that part repeated over and over in dominant gene, recessive 1, and recessive 2. I'm gonna give you an example. This is a real example that I did. Okay, all right, so let me give you a real example. So I wanted to breed this baby with all these qualities, with running, Gotta, imp, and cottontail, right? I wanted a baby just like this. So what did I do? What was my thought process? First thing I did, I found 2 Axies that had those genes repeated over and over so that my percentage would increase. So I found these 2 Axies right here, this one right here, and this one right here. If we look at them, we're gonna go right here. If we look at them, we copy and we put it right here, calculate, right? You can see that Gotta is on gene D, gene R1, gene R2. Imp is on D, R1, R2. Running is on D, R1, and R2. Cottontail is on D, R1, and R2, right? So this Axie is really good. Now I gotta find a pair that doesn't counter this Axie. I want a pair that also has the same qualities so that my percentage increases, right? So what I did was I found another Axie, and we're gonna go back right here, that has similar qualities, right? So I went like this. I found this Axie, and if you plug it in by itself, you can see it has Gota on D, on R1, on R2. You got Imp on D, on R1 and on R2. You got Running on D, R1 and R2, and you got Cottontail on D, R1 and R2, right? So if you take this and you plug it in on the calculator with this guy, you press calculate, boom, you got 100% Gota, 100% Imp, 100% Running, and 100% Cottontail. Now if you look at the ears, right, you got percentages on Clover 12% and Bubble Maker 9%. So there's a high percentage of getting Nyan on the ears, right, which I really wanted because I wanted it to be 100% pure beast, but that didn't happen because I got Clover on it. And if we look at the Axie that I made out of those two, I got the ear and it was Clover. So it's not 100% pure, but it doesn't matter because I got all the qualities that I needed, right, from the Axie. It would have been better if I got Neon out of it, but it's okay. Okay, it's okay. And that is how you breed. That is how you breed. You find Axies that match the things that you want, and you're not always gonna find 100% Axies. Pure Axies, they're hard as hell, and they're gonna be expensive. They're gonna be expensive because they took time to make them pure. Axies didn't just come pure out of nowhere. You know, people started breeding little by little, and they came to a point where they made them pure, right? So that's how it works. So when you want to breed something in specific, you gotta search for Axies that have those qualities, and then you gotta plug it in on the calculator, right, and see what the percentage is. I could already tell I don't need the calculator anymore for a lot of things. I don't need it because I can see it from the outside. When I hover over and I see the genes, I can see if it's gonna be pure or not, right? Sometimes you don't want it pure. Sometimes you want to experiment, right? Sometimes you want to breed two Axies and see what happens, right? See if you get like a crazy chance of getting an Axie with something random, okay? So that's something that people do too, okay? So I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say I want to grab a bird, this bird right here, and I want this bird to have something that this beast has. So you plug it in right here, and you got 50% chance of this bird having Gota, 50% chance of this bird having Imp, and 50% chance of having Running, 50% having a Cottontail. So let's say I want to make a bird with all these qualities. You know, I'm taking a big chance. It's a 50-50, and it's a 50-50 as well on the body. Not necessarily it's gonna be a bird. It could be a beast. So this is always 50-50. When you're pairing two Axies from different classes, it's always a 50-50 chance of one being either, in this case, bird or beast. Anyway, I hope you guys kind of understood how genes work. And if you guys need to dig into it a little bit more, I highly recommend you use this article. It's way better than my explanation. I was just trying to get like just a little bit out there so that people that are searching for this can actually find something. Okay, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.